Good day. It's February 23rd, 2026. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the U.S. citizenship of an El Salvadoran immigrant that ICE wanted to deport. These are among the many cases brought before our court system against relentless effort by ICE to deport as many as they could as part of Trump's immigration policy. I'm Sam Buban. Welcome to The Pulse.
And I'm Jessica Rolla. Welcome to this week's edition.
The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is in Richmond, Virginia, has jurisdiction over Washington, D.C., ruled that Mario Rene Lopez is a United States citizen under the 1952 Immigration and Nationality Act the moment her mother became naturalized. Lopez's removal from the U.S. because of past drug-related criminal charges, and like many with even a non-violent criminal record or misdemeanor, were targeted by ICE for deportation. A lower court judge had already halted the deportation, but the Justice Department elevated the case to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals so that they can get a ruling to allow deportation of Mario Rene Lopez. The Justice Department cited that Lopez, who was born in El Salvador out of wedlock and is Salvadoran citizen under El Salvadoran law. But Lopez immigrated to the United States with his mother when he was a child, and her mother became a naturalized U.S. citizen when Lopez was 16 years old. The appeals court ruled that Lopez received a derivative naturalized citizenship when his mother became a U.S. citizen and therefore cannot be deported. The Trump administration argued that under El Salvador's undetermined paternity law and being born in El Salvador, that Mario Rene Lopez is El Salvadoran citizen under El Salvador law. The three-judge panel in their ruling said that we are talking about U.S. law here and not El Salvadoran law in this case. The DOJ has not filed yet an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court as of this reporting. This ruling could apply to many out there facing deportation but did not know about the right to derivative citizenship under the 1952 Immigration and Nationality Act.
In an unrelated story about ICE and deportations, Colombian Congresswoman Angela Vergara denounced ICE after learning that her son, Rafael Vergara, was detained and chained for 18 months. Angela Vergara, who is from Colombia's right-wing conservative party, called Colombia's president a communist thief and praised Trump's ICE raids when it was happening. So her son, Rafael, who has been in the United States since 2022, applied for an asylum in 2023. So in a video, she said her son was waiting for his legal asylum status when he was arrested, and that her son has never committed even a traffic violation, and like other Colombians, he's going through hell. Vergara and her conservative colleagues openly support policies of the Republican Party. Some reactions from fellow Colombians said, "It's like the saying, it didn't bother you until it directly affects you."
The U.S. government continued to have a partial shutdown. The Department of Homeland Security, which includes ICE, has no new Congress-approved budget. But the Democrats are offering a deal with the congressional Republicans and White House of what their demands are to end the shutdown. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, along with Democrats in Congress, have three demands in order for them to agree to a DHS funding. Said they have three basic objectives to rein in on ICE. First, end the roving patrols and barring ICE from entering certain places. Second, a use of force code for immigration enforcement agents. And third, requiring agents not to wear masks and have body camera while performing their job. The Republicans in the White House said they are still far from coming to an agreement. In the meantime, DHS has no funding approved by Congress and remain on a shutdown.
Trump's election bill that he pushed through Congress and passed in the House of Representatives by one vote majority after one Democrat voted with the Republicans to pass a bill known as Save America Act, but is getting difficulty getting the 60 votes required to pass it in the U.S. Senate. Late last week, Senate Majority Leader John Thune said there are now 50 Senate Republicans who will vote for the bill, and added that they are still far from reaching the threshold to pass the law, which requires 60 votes. 60 votes is what is required for any bill to be filibuster-proof. The Democrats can stop the bill by filibuster, and the Senate rule requires 60 votes on a bill to kill a filibuster. Critics of the bill describes this as another tool for voter suppression of Democratic voters, which is expecting a high turnout in this midterm election and are expecting blue wave. Some estimates after seeing polling data that Republicans could lose as much as 42 seats in the House of Representatives, giving back the control of lower chamber to the Democrats. Republicans are now just clinging to 2 votes majority in the House, the slimmest margin ever in congressional history.
In our world news, in Africa, BBC reported that Uganda's army chief threatened to castrate opposition leader claiming ancestry from Jesus. General Mahuzu Kainerugaba, the fiery Twitter user in control of Uganda's military, is accused by his enemies of being part of an unholy trio or partnership of 3 men who ruled the East African nation with an iron grip. Kainerugaba, the son of the country's longtime leader Yoweri Museveni, has written on social media site X about the murders of opposition supporters during last month's hotly contested presidential election. In a now deleted post, he allegedly threatened to remove the testicles of lost opposition candidate Bobi Wine, with the 81-year-old president winning a 7th term. Pundits think it is likely to be his last, and he is grooming his 51-year-old son to succeed him. Museveni, Kainerugaba, and the president's influential brother and special advisor Salim Saleh formed the so-called Unholy Alliance. Nicodemus Minde, a Kenya-based analyst at the think tank Institute for Security Studies, reported hearing the scenario during a recent research trip to Uganda and described it this way: the father is Museveni, the son is Muhoozi, and the unholy spirit could be the uncle Salim Saleh, he argues. Minde portrays Saleh as a power behind the scenes who is influential in terms of money, business, and access. Opposition supporters accuse the family of feeling they have God-given right to rule Uganda when Museveni extended his 40-year rule after winning the election with more than 70% of the vote. The army leader later accused the U.S. of assisting Wine's, the opposition, escape and announced that all military cooperation between the 2 countries would be halted. He apologized on Friday, claiming he had been given wrong information. He then said, "I intend to reduce my interactions on the social media platform." Last year, he stated he would leave X and return after only a few days. Kainerugaba is regarded as the tweeting general and has a long history of contentious posts, some of which have since been deleted. He has also used religion to achieve his political agenda.
In the Philippines, the Vice President Sara Duterte, daughter of former President Rodrigo Duterte, who is now in custody at The Hague for crimes against humanity for his war on drugs, where more than 12,000 unarmed civilians were killed by police operations. has announced her candidacy for president in 2028. Vice President Sara Duterte has been a target of impeachment by the Philippine Congress. Since she became vice president, the Philippines House of Representatives had filed a total of 3 articles of impeachment relating to alleged corruption in the handling of the Department of Education intelligence funds, where she was a cabinet secretary for education under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s presidency. She has since resigned after falling out with the Marcoses. But the botched impeachment proceedings did not go to trial in the Philippine Senate after the Supreme Court ruled that it was unconstitutional because the Philippine Constitution allows only 1 impeachment of a public official during a 12-month period. That she should have been tried by the Senate if the House of Representatives impeached her, instead of waiting and consolidating the 3 impeachment complaints. A new articles of impeachment has been filed in the House of Representatives, but her supporters describe it as another attempt to prevent her from running for president in 2028, when the term of President Marcos Jr. ends. The Philippine Constitution does not allow re-election for a president, but the term is 6 years in office. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be joined by a candidate for judge in Las Vegas. Please stay with us.
Don't waste your money on CBD. Now hold on, don't turn the video off. If you're already taking CBD, good for you. You're on a good path, but there's a much better way. If you're thinking, should I try CBD? Let me answer a couple of questions that might help you make the decision to even try a CBD product. First of all, let's answer the question, what is CBD and where does it come from? CBD is cannabidiol. It's called a cannabinoid, and it's found naturally in many different plants. In fact, as you see here in the Cannabicae family, there's hops, sandalwood, hackberry, of course, hemp, even marijuana, but we're not talking here about marijuana. In fact, we're going to be talking about hemp. As I started to mention, CBD can be found in hemp, in rather high levels, as a matter of fact. But here's the problem. CBD is not the only cannabinoid you can find in hemp. Hemp contains over 100 different cannabinoids. In fact, in the Cannabicae family, hemp contains the highest level of cannabinoids of any plant, which is why it's the most popular source for CBD. But as I mentioned, CBD is only one of the cannabinoids that you can find in hemp. Hemp contains high levels also of CBC, CBG, and CBN. So why would we want CBC, CBD, CBG, and CBN? Well, as we look at the benefits here from CBD alone, you can see these benefits are great. I mean, who wouldn't want these benefits, right? But let's look at the benefits you can get from CBC. You see, they compound with CBD and offer yet even more. But then let's also now look at CBG. CBG has even more benefits. So naturally, anybody looking for the maximum benefit you can derive from hemp would want CBC, CBG, and CBD. But don't stop there. CBN also has fantastic benefits. So if you're looking for a great hemp product and you're contemplating trying a CBD product, don't just buy CBD. And please, don't buy that cheap gas station grocery store stuff. It's just that, cheap, and it won't benefit you at all. But if you can get a high grade, medical grade in fact, hemp product that contains CBC, CBD, CBG, and CBN, now you are unleashing the full power of your body that can only happen if you have all 4 of these cannabinoids in your body. If you're taking CBD, you're getting roughly 1/4 of the benefit that hemp can give you. Well, 1/4 is better than nothing, I suppose, but when you want 100% of all the benefits that hemp can give you, that is what happens if you take CBD with CBC, CBG, and CBN. So now you're probably asking, well, where on earth do I get all 4 of those? The problem now is solved. CBX4 contains high levels, not trace levels, and this is very important, contains high levels of all 4 of these cannabinoids, which means every benefit we listed up until now is available to you naturally in CBX4 and only in CBX4.
We use headphones as a part of our everyday lives. Whether we're at work, getting exercise, meditating, in transit, studying, practicing, or relaxing.
Hi, I'm Ryan Sway, the founder of Aircom. I would like to introduce the world's first wireless airflow audio earbuds. As a festival and a concert junkie, I really enjoy the live experience of being there and feeling the music. When we started developing Airflow, our goal was to reproduce that live experience using earbuds.
The problem with traditional headphones is that the speakers are located inside of the earpiece, literally giving you centimeters before the audio hits your eardrum.
What Aircom is doing, they're the first company to actually address the fact that there needs to be a space involved associated with having the sound waves expand fully.
The difference between traditional headphones and Aircom audio is that the air tube gives you 8 times more space, allowing the sound waves to fully develop before they actually hit your eardrums. And this gives it a much more live, natural sound, just like in a recording studio.
Real nice that someone actually addressed the physics associated with how sound comes out.
The challenge we had was to create an earbud with enough airspace for the sound to fully develop and breathe. Unfortunately, traditional earbuds are about the size of a jelly bean, and there's just not enough airspace. However, that changed when we developed Airflow Audio. Airflow uses an air tube to deliver 6 to 8 times more airspace than traditional earbuds. The end result is a true live listening experience, just like you're at a festival or a concert. We also added magnets to the back of the earpieces so you can wear it around your neck when you're not using it.
Being that the drivers are 8 inches from the earpiece, the magnets do not affect the integrity of the sound at all.
The orange line represents the frequency transmitting through the wire to the speaker, which then converts to the blue sound wave that develops more as it travels up the air tube, producing a balanced, full body and live listening experience.
Another really cool feature is that these earbuds are sweat-proof and water-resistant because they're coated with a super hydrophobic nanotechnology. So now you can be on a skateboard or riding a motorcycle and listen to music as if you were watching a live show or actually in a recording studio.
We're coming to you for help in bringing these unparalleled earbuds to market.
Welcome back to The Pulse. For our viewers in the Philippines and other parts of the world, as an explainer, state judges in the U.S. are elected nonpartisan position, and many are elected or re-elected during regular elections. So, with us now here at PhilAm TV studios is Ray Kennedy, who is running for Municipal Court Judge, Department 1, for the City of Las Vegas. Ray, welcome to The Pulse.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Let's start by telling your audience about yourself. What's your background?
Sure. So I'm a Midwest gal. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but I consider Las Vegas to be my soul city. I absolutely love living here. I got to relocate here about 14 years ago. I currently work at Legal Aid Center. I represent kids in court, and I have the privilege of giving them a voice. But in terms of my background, I've been a lawyer for almost 22 years. About half of that time has been representing individual clients. So I currently represent kids, but for 8 years, I was a public defender doing criminal defense. And the other half of the time of my legal career has been advocating for system changes. So being in court administration and advancing policies that I think will make a positive impact on the court system and on our community safety.
Great, and so what made you want to run for this election?
So I didn't want to be a judge until I started working at Las Vegas Municipal Court as an administrator. I kind of joked that I had a chance to peek behind the curtain, and I saw firsthand how an apathetic judiciary can have such negative impacts on the court's outcomes and on community safety. And when I saw that, I really couldn't let it stand. I decided that I needed to run in order to make some positive changes.
What kind of cases are heard in the municipal court Department 1?
That's a great question, because a lot of people think that it's like our legislature, where Department 1 means that you only take cases from a certain part of the city, but actually the entire city gets to vote for the judges, and the department really means nothing. They just need to figure out a way to differentiate the judges. So as cases come in, they're randomly assigned to any one of the 6 judges, and Las Vegas Municipal Court handles all criminal misdemeanors and traffic offenses that occur within the City of Las Vegas limits.
Okay, so is Municipal Court Department 1 candidates on the ballot on every for everybody in Clark County, or only in Las Vegas incorporated area?
Yes, only in the City of Las Vegas proper. And so you can have a Las Vegas address, but not actually live in the city, which is really confusing for voters.
Yeah, like where I live, it's Las Vegas, but it's an unincorporated area.
Exactly. So we have 22 zip codes in the City of Las Vegas, but on my website, I have a link where people can check their address to see if they actually live in the city, so that's really helpful.
And then what kind of special things do you want done as a judge if elected? And that is not currently being done, if you didn't mention that already, in the municipal court.
Sure. So one of my pet peeves about judicial candidates, and I hope my fellow candidates don't get mad at me, but one of my pet peeves is when a judicial candidate says, I'm running because I want to be fair and impartial and treat everyone with respect. And that's a nice, that's a great way to think. But I kind of think that that's like the price of admission. That's something that we should all do no matter what. I actually want to run because I have a vision for our court and for our community. So I want to create a community-centered court. I want to return municipal court to our community, and I want to make sure that our court is efficient, it is transparent, and it's innovative. And so a few things that I want to do that's different is I want to create a community advisory council that is made up of experts and community leaders across the valley to help infuse new ideas into our court. I want to make sure that our court is in the 21st century with innovation and technology. Because it exists, we just don't have it in our courts. And I want to make sure that we are implementing research-based decisions and best practices. We have 70 years of research that tells us how we should effectively address crime, and we just don't put enough of those policies into place.
The funding for municipal court is much lower than the district court, right? Like the county.
Actually, no. So, interestingly enough, and this is not why I ran, but actually municipal court judges get paid more than district court judges. Any of your municipalities, North Las Vegas, Henderson, and the City of Las Vegas. District court judges are going to be getting a raise soon because their salaries haven't been kept to par with the municipalities. When they get that raise, they still won't quite be making as much as municipal court judges, but we have a state Supreme Court decision that says that the city has to pay the bills of the municipal court that's attached to it. So the City of Las Vegas has to pay municipal court's bills, regardless of whether municipal court brings in one dime in fines or fees. So we are not a system like some other jurisdictions that generate its operating budget by imposing fines and fees on people. And I
see.
think that's a great way to do it
Yes.
because that allows us to look at an individual and decide what the best way is to address their criminal behavior. It doesn't automatically mean that we need to impose a high fine or fee on them. And we can look at their individual circumstances to determine what amount is going to deter their behavior as opposed to having a set amount across the board for everyone. In fact, that's their constitutional right, is to have an individualized determination of their ability to pay what that fine should be.
That's a good point there, Ray. We're almost out of time for this segment, so the last words are for you. And what do you want to say to your voters?
So what I want to say to my voters is that we live in a city that has world-class everything. And like I mentioned, Las Vegas is my soul city. I think it's the greatest city on earth. I want our municipal court to be world-class as well. And I think we have all of the tools to make it so. We just need judges that are creative, that are compassionate, that are competent, caring, and committed. And that's me. So I say vote Canady for court.
We will leave it at that. Ray Canady, candidate for Municipal Court Judge, Department 1. Thank you for talking to us today.
It's my pleasure.
Good luck on your race.
Thank you so much.
And to our viewers, please join us again next week here at The Pulse. I'm Jessica Rolla. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Sam Buban. God bless your week.